sort of run a mailing list. I sort of run a mailing list called Skunkworks.
We run Skunkworks.
I'm Brian. Okay. I defend so much on Twitter. I'm with Supporter Media. Build platforms for online communities.
Did they solve any of your problems?
Actually, I'm praising
So today is the day to appreciate them.
Pizza's over there. He accepts the credit card.
M-Pesa as well.
M-Cash, so if you're saving.
My name is Victor. I work for a company called Soud. I do online marketing for them. Basically manage the site, handle the e-commerce transactions, manage the communities that are around the Soud, on Twitter and Facebook, and also on the site. And also manage wildlife direct on Facebook. That's about 1,000 members. So community to protect bloggers. Also manage that. And I used to work with this guy Pamonja. I don't think they've checked me as one of the admins on Facebook.
But you're not with Pamonja anymore.
He's with Sandstorm.
Are you reminding them politely?
I left Pamonja November last year. So Sandstorm, November and December.
Within a span of, I think, 2 to 3 years, you worked with the non-profits, you worked with the profit sector, now you're working with the profit sector. And what's the difference?
It's been very fun because I've worked with a non-profit as the guy who basically gets services from digital agency. Then I moved to a digital agency from WhatsApp. Then now I work for profit. In terms of communities, when you're a non-profit, most of the comments, your community basically, the general mood is that they like you, they like your stuff. It's very rare to get like a disparaging comment and stuff.
Your background is in journalism.
Yeah.
So that transition from journalism to digital media, I mean, I think from where you went to school, you're being taught the traditional media, the approaches to traditional media, but digital media is so much faster, response rates are much faster, and dealing with
all the basics journalism as we were taught, because I majored in print. Now if you look at print and digital, there are very few things that are the same. Most of the stuff in digital media is like what you were taught in print flipped the other way around in terms of immediacy, in terms of feedback. So it's been a challenge. But the good thing is immediately I got out of university after doing some corporate relations stuff. I got into digital media, so it's been a learning curve. Remember the Nigerian.
I think, Mark, everyone knows you, so you have no more than 140 seconds to introduce yourself.
140 characters, eh? Okay, let me try 140 characters, eh? I'm a storyteller. In a word, if you wanted to ask what I do. Actually, I think that's quite rude of me to start that way. Good evening, everybody. Good evening again.
Good evening.
I don't think people forget to ask, good evening, common courtesy, Yeah, so I think my 140 characters are up now, but so I work with brands, agencies, non-profits here and in South Africa, and a few other very, very cool places on this continent this year. And over the past years to help people tell stories. But I think a manual is just a manual, and now this is everything you stand for. I think consumers and people online like stories. I like people to distill their messages into friendly, conversational, and relational messages, stories. So that's what I do. Besides that, I think I wear about a dozen other hats. but yeah, that's what brings me here today.
Hi, my name is Marvin Tumbo. I do social media. Yeah, I run a company called Social Media. I gave Safaricom around for their money a while back.
Yeah, you see.
Your name and one was like, touching like the corner.
Yeah, they did me wrong a while back, but they did me good. So I've been promoting them in my workshop. Basically, I do social media. I provide social media services. I do training. I do everything social.
Okay. I mean, okay, your background is also very interesting. You came from an economics background, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And shifted to become a social media aspect. Did you work in anything to do with what you studied in school?
I worked as an intern at Nairobi Nakuru Business Association for a while, but I studied economics and sociology. And for me, the sociology aspect was really interesting when I decided to get into social media because it's all the same things. I was reading my books on campus.
It all made sense.
It made sense in a lot of ways. So for me, I came in thinking I have a background in sociology, and I studied economics as well. So it's marrying the two because I'm going to businesses and telling them you can use social media, and it makes economic sense.
That's true. Now you entered the industry when it was very young. I mean, how was it pitching to clients? You know, giving them a solution that people don't even believe in it and don't think it's going to work, because at that time there were very few people on social media. I mean, right now you can actually justify with the numbers, but then in Kenya, you look at social media, people just look at it as one, time waster, two, a platform for only teenagers who don't have money. So how was it, you know, building up that market and building up that reputation for yourself?
I knew it was going to be difficult. It was something very, very new. And when I started, let me vlog. I was not looking for brands. I was creating leadership in a way. So I started by vlogging. I vlogged for 2 months, not looking for clients, barely making ends meet. And after those 2 months, I was blogging on why businesses should use social media. So after 2 months, I started ranking well, and businesses started seeing business sense in using social media, and that's when the clients started coming in. But initially, I was not focusing on clients, I was focusing on sending a message on social media. It's not a sensation. It's a really, really viable frontier for business.
Yes. Hey everyone. We're familiar with everyone here to varying degrees, except Marianne and Anne. It's very nice to meet you, and obviously the gentleman in brown. Like Mark, I'm a storyteller, although I'm a stranger. I was a stranger to social media this time last year. I was one of those people who Soud said looked at it as something for teenagers with time to waste. So I was a very late adopter to Facebook. I only joined Twitter in June last year for very pragmatic reasons. It had nothing to do with the community aspect. The community came later. I went there with selfish reasons, but I realized that, you know, just the space that it opens up, the people who you get to meet, and the fact that I know all you people, it's purely due to what was going on in the online world that carried over into the physical world. And I think I should have introduced myself to begin with. I was, in my previous life, a lawyer and an accountant, you know, always in the course of struggling to find. What's that? Yeah, all those things.
I learned a bit.
Then I was working as a legal consultant in 2009, and one morning I just couldn't get out of bed. I didn't have the energy to get out of bed. What's that?
You're human.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of bed. I was not interested in what I was doing. I was constantly dealing with briefs and clients who constantly, you know, just you leave the work at 5, but you don't really leave the work. You're concerned with this guy is going to court the next day, and you need to deliver an answer to him in the morning. So you don't really have this time to yourself. So I couldn't get out of bed, and I decided to just leave that and find myself, so to speak. That eat, pray, love stuff. So in the course of walking on Kimathi Street, I stopped to look at the statue on Kimathi Street of Dead and Kimathi. And I was like, you know what, nobody has bothered to try and fictionalize this guy's life. So that's when I started writing a script for the Dead and Kimathi based webcomic Emergency. And that took me about 6 months, just researching and reading books upon books upon books. But the thing is, I was really interested in what I was doing. So that's how the webcomic, some of you might know, emergency.comic.com came about. And it's just blown up from there. I didn't really know where it was going to go. And I'm still experimenting. I haven't done it all right. There are so many things I'm still learning every day, as in Marvin could help me with this on the social media front. But even with the little traction I've gotten, right now I'm working with a video game manufacturer doing the concept art. Clients keep coming for totally unrelated stuff, but communities are really powerful and the sky is the limit. But I haven't
followers. I mean, you built a brand, you built a story. What's been the feedback from your community?
The feedback has been very positive. Actually, all the criticism I've received has been purely from a delivery perspective. The site doesn't do this. The comic is too small. You need to change this, you need to change that. Why can't we comment more? And I find that very gratifying that nobody is actually calling me out on, oh, your story is boring. You know? So the content is good, and I'm just experimenting, but it's quite young, and we'll see how it is going forward. But the feedback is positive.
We're just introducing ourselves, so.
So, hi everyone, my name is Kaburo Kobia, and I work with Kenya ICT Board. I'm responsible for local digital content. And so yeah, I just heard about this today, so but I thought it was really important to
Same here.
come here. And I heard of course on Twitter. So very excited to be here and hear, you know, what especially community managers here have to say, and how we can really, you know, one of the things I really want to do is help introduce this as, you know, a key job description in a lot of in the companies that we have here in Kenya, the ones that really want to build their brand online. So look forward to hearing what you guys have to say.
Thank you. Elvis, I am just a tech. Blogging, I blog a little. I got this input from a friend of mine, so I think it has done me a lot. I think I'm happy to be here, just to hear what you guys do.
He actually started actually I'm working on him to see how we can build a community around starting a personal tech in Kenya, application of Kenya. I have a really cool application on how to visualize traffic on different streets in Nairobi, close to Google Maps. So we thought it would be a good idea for him to come here to hear the challenges, what as community managers.
Have you completed the application? It's on there. It's section 1. What does it mean? Sorry. Related to traffic. Reduce social media. I know. Yes. And also take this. Between you and a bunch of friends, and then you have a complete traffic.
One camera. My background is computer science and economics. I've been working as a consultant. I've been working as an independent consultant up to December last year. As of this year, I'm part of a small consulting firm called Questec, and we consult mainly on technology and business. So, I mean, the web changes the world, the way the world is operating, and all that. That's my interest in the web. And it's a very big ecosystem. I mean, there's the content part, and there's the whole automation part and SEO, where you're actually getting your content to be seen and whatnot. But now the biggest driver on the web is the users, the feedback, the engagement, and whatnot. And we sat down with Mark, and we saw that and this is the second annual CMAD, and we decided to host a small one in Kenya. I mean, we didn't do a lot of promotion, but wanted to keep it small, get the right people so that we can talk about what is happening in the country and the way forward. So we're actually the first CMAD in Africa.
Nice.
So you're part of history.
I didn't know that.